Daly and Vincent. Sitting beside me, behind me, back up here, a guy who is a veteran and has been a part of country music and country comedy for more years than any of us
You're
want to remember.
talking about me, ain't you?
I'm talking about you.
Yes,
From the group,
I know you are.
Duet, Lonzo and Oscar. This is Oscar Sullivan. First time he's ever been with us.
Thank you. Let me get over here, this microscope. Here, now, we'll do some talking, won't we, there?
You have been a big part of my life in this business personally. The first tour I ever went on, I was on tour with Lonzo and Oscar, and I wrecked their brand new car.
I'm going to tell them about that. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Hey, I got a microphone. Yeah, there it is. Whoa, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me tell the story. And there's one thing I want you to do. Say, I hit him. I hit him. This is funny.
It's as funny to me as it is to you.
I believe you had some fun too. Well, not at that time. You know, we played the Grand Ole Opry, and we had a new member. And I asked Jim Denny, I said, who is that? He said, that's Bill Anderson. And he said, I'd like for you to do me a favor. Says, I have booked the Grand Ole Opry at 5 shows away from home, Colorado, or somewhere over there. And says, I want you to take care of him. He was about 18 or 20. How old was you, Bill?
Yeah, that's about it.
About it? That's what I thought. Well, I heard him on the Grand Ole Opry, and it really pleased me. I thought, well, that youngun's going to mount something. Yeah, I know he did. And anyway, I said, I'll be glad to take care of him. And I've been around a little bit, and he might get lost or something, you know. And so here we took off. All got in the car. We drove. And Bill sat over there and slept. And we got up on top of a mountain. And Bill says, why don't you let me drive? I know how to drive. I mean, I'm a good driver. And someone said, yeah, let Bill drive and let us get a nap. So we put him under the wheel right on top of that mountain. And he started out, he's doing fine. Great, everything. We all was dozing off. And all at once, the car started swerving, you know. And I said, what's going on? And Bill says, look out there in front of me. Says, there's a deer right in front of me. And every time I pull to the right, it does too. I pull to the left, and it does too. He says, what did you say?
I said, I can't miss it. I can't miss it. And I didn't miss it.
Well, Cousin Jody raised up in the back seat and said, and he did. But you said, I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hit him. Yeah, I did. And he did. Well, we went on in town there. And
by the way, folks, on the drums, that's John Gardner. See why I didn't introduce you on the last show, don't you?
We went on into town and reported the little wreck. It didn't hurt the car very much, but it killed the deer. And so they come and picked it up, and we went on to the show date. Drove the car, and everything was fine. Did our all of our good shows, and you sang well. I enjoyed it very much.
Well, you're very kind. You were very nice to me. Tell me a little bit about Lonzo and Oscar. I know you did a lot of comedy material. Did Eddie Arnold give you guys the name Lonzo and Oscar?
Eddie Arnold is the daddy of Lonzo and Oscar. He got us started. He hired Lloyd George and me to play in the band. He says, now, I want you two to play comedy and head my show. And then, in a little while you introduce me, and I'll come out and sing. Well, the idea is we were to make them laugh, and he made them cry. Please, Mommy, please stay home with me. He did. But Eddie was a great, great guy. Well, I want to tell you this. Eddie's session was over, and Steve Scholes was the recording manager, and he went out into the lobby to get a drink of water. He come back into the studio there with just a sheet music in his hand. He was laughing. Oh, boy, he was laughing. And Eddie says, "What in the world is the matter with you, boy?" He says, "I got a song here that will rock America." And Eddie says, "Well, give it to me. I need a hit bad." So he gave him the sheet music, and my Gallus is down again. He gave him the sheet music, and Eddie looked at it, and he went, "Whoo, my goodness. Steve, I'm trying to get in the business, not out of it." See? So Eddie says, "Well, I'll tell you what, I got a couple of guys here that can record this. I mean, today. Just give them the sheet music. They can read. Give them the music, and they will get it down. Give them 2 hours, and then we'll take another 3 hours and record that song, I'm My Own Grandpa." Well, we did. We worked on it, and of course, we had to read it because it's a mess, friends. I'm telling you, I'm my own grandpa's a mess. You wait till you hear it. So we did the session on one of these old wire recorders. And so about 3 weeks, well, Steve Scholes released the song. And then he called us one day and says, "My goodness," said, "this thing's getting out of hand. I can't even think about supplying records for it. So I can't do it." I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" He says, "Well, we're going to get the council together and we'll find out what to do." So what they did, they leased the masters to 10 record labels. 10 record labels in 10 countries. Well, sir, it wasn't long after that. Why, it was about a month, I guess, after that. I got a check from RCA Victor, and it looked like my Social Security number. They had sold 3,554,000 records on that thing. And then he had sold nearly 1 million here in the United States. But the funniest thing, we was sitting in the studio, and there's a couple of guys with white jackets on came in there and says, "I'm looking for Lonzo and Oscar." And Lonzo says, "Good or bad?" And he says, "Well, I don't know." Says, "We want you to go down to the radio station, or the TV station, our experiment station, rather, and do I'm My Own Grandpa." So I said, "Well, okay, if that's what you want. Is that all right, Eddie?" Eddie said, "Yeah, that's okay." So we went down to the station, and while we was down there, we sang this I'm My Own Grandpa. Well, the idea was to see how far the station would go out, would reach out, see. And they had 11 men hired to go different places and listen to see, And so we sat around there for a while, and wasn't long until they came in. And so Steve said, "Did you hear it?" He said, "No." "Did you hear it?" "No." "Did you hear it?" "No." "Did you hear it?" "No." And then had a little silence there, and an old guy raised up and says, "I heard it." "Well, where was you at?" "2 blocks down the street."
Do you still sing I'm My Own Grandpa? Can we talk you into singing it?
Yeah.
Even without Alonzo with you?
Yeah, I'm going to do it by myself.
All right.
And I'm going to listen. It's a very, very complicated thing.
I don't see how in the world you ever learned the words to it, because it is.
We read them over the paper.
Yeah. But in later years, of course, you did it live. You going to get up with the band, or you going to just do it right here?
No, I'll get up with the band.
Okay. All right.
I think they're all mighty fine looking folks there. And so I like a good backup, you know, and they are a good one. So I'll just take my microphone off if it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I thank you for the privilege of meeting with y'all here at the family reunion here, and all of you folks out on the air. I'm wearing my costume that I wore all through Lonzo and Oscar. And it's pretty too, Lonzo. All righty. Let's get up there and see what we can do. I'm a little bit young here, and you lead me around there. 92 will get me, I guess.
Are you 92?
92, going on 93.
My goodness.
And friends, thank you for I don't know how long this going on is going to be, but if the good Lord keeps on, I'll sure enjoy it. So I have written some songs, gospel songs and everything. But anyway, this is another day. We're going to try to sing you I'm My Own Grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so.
Somebody gonna help me?
Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Now, many, many years ago, when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. My father fell in love with her, and soon they two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law and changed my very life. My daughter was my mother, 'cause she was my father's wife. To complicate the matter, even though it brought me joy, I soon become the father of a bouncing baby boy. This little baby then became a brother-in-law to Dad, and so became my uncle, though it made me very sad. For if he was my uncle, then that also made him brother of the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course was my stepmother. I'm my own grandpa. Sing with me if you want to. I'm my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Well, father's wife then had a son who kept them on the run, and he became my grandchild, for he was my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother, and it makes me blue, because although she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. Now, if my wife's my grandmother, then I'm her grandchild. And every time I think of it, yet it drives me wild. For now I have become the strangest case you ever saw, as husband of my grandmother and my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Thank you. Thank you.
Oscar Sullivan, Lonzo and Oscar for so many years.
They didn't know all this good talent around here, did they?
What a treasure. Thank you for being here with us and sharing that song. They don't write them like that anymore, do they?
And I'm going to sit down and try to behave myself now.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Oscar Sullivan.